let's bring our hands together in front of our heart, honoring our presence here and honoring one another. And then I'll invite you to blink your eyes closed and honor this practice, the practice that draws us momentarily away from the external world towards our internal world. And we go there and explore and excavate and nourish so that we can go back out into the external world, bringing a higher version of ourself. So focus on your breath now, that beautiful expression of the external and internal coming together. With each inhale, drink in something you need to feel more expansive, more enlivened. And let each exhale represent a letting go or a release. We sit here right now on the precipice of a full moon, a blood moon, and an eclipse on top of it. So honor all this powerful energy of release that is swirling around outside of us. And recognize that it is in service to the work we want to do on ourselves here during our yoga practice. And then let your hands rest down onto your lap. Feel into your sit bones and press them down into the mat some so you feel a nice, long, tall spine arising from the base, extending all the way up through the crown of your head. And feel your body as this connecting point between the earth and the macrocosm. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, given the energy of this full moon, I invite you to consider something you're ready to bring to completion now in your life. Honor that, whatever that is, as being your teacher, as being something or someone that you linked arms with for a period of time, so that you could move yourself further down this transformative path that we call life. Maybe seeing the completion of that thing or that person or that relationship brings up a sense of loss and grief. Maybe it brings up a sense of relief and joy. In either case, honor it. Okay, open your eyes, please. And take your left hand over to the outside of your right thigh. Take your right hand around behind you and just twist around and look over your right shoulder. Feeling the spiraling nature of the spine from the ground up through the crown of the head. Breathe. Find some length in the spine, and as you exhale, find just a slightly deeper twist. And then on your inhale, come back to center, and on your exhale, twist around to the left side. Use your inhale to find a nice, tall, bright spine, and an exhale to spiral the spine around. And then return to center. Just prop your hands out like little tent stakes off to the side of you. And just on your inhale, turn your gaze up towards the sky. And as you exhale, bring your chin down towards your chest. And just see if you can just move the head to begin with, not the spine. We'll add that in just a moment. Exploring the range of your neck and allowing any kind of crunchiness or sound that you might hear as being okay. And then gaze forward, move your tent stakes out in front of you, and then just walking slightly forward. And maybe your elbows find the floor, maybe not. And just gaze down towards the floor between your arms. And keep drawing your sit bones back and down so that you're feeling some length along your spine. And then from here too, you could do some chin to chest and then an upward gaze as well. You won't go near as high, but you feel the back of the neck some from this position. Do one more. And then walk your hands back towards you. Place your hands on top of your knees and on your inhale, lean forward. On your exhale, circle around to the right. And when you get to the back, start another inhale and let the rest of the rotation be the exhale. So one circle around is an inhale and an exhale. See if you can match the breath and the movement. So you might have to slow the movement down or speed it up, but your breath gets to be the leader and your body the follower. After you've gone around one direction, then you get to the front, switch it around, start to go the other direction. And you feel kind of this transfer of balance from one sit bone to the other. Feel the difference between leaning back and leaning in, and just experiencing it all. Great. Come back to the center and make your way to tabletop position, please. In tabletop, do cow and cat, using the inhale to lower the belly and lift the gaze, and the exhale to curl and round through the spine, drawing the navel up towards the back, and then the inhale to melt the belly down and lift the gaze. Here too, the breath is the leader and the body follows. Okay, come back to a level back. Curl your toes under, lift up towards downward facing dog. Maybe you keep your knees bent some to begin with. Separate your feet hip distance. Look forward, see that your hands are about shoulder distance apart.
And then return your gaze back between your legs. Maybe you pedal your feet some. And then after doing that a bit, press down and back through both heels. Draw the energy up the back of the legs, right up into the sit bones, and then draw that same energy back down towards your heels. So perhaps your heels get a little closer to the mat. Feel like you can engage your navel up and in towards your spine some. Find a little swell between your shoulder blades, or a puffing up action is how it feels to me. Feels a little bit like your elbows are rolling down and away from the midline. And then even pressure between both hands and between the thumb and the pinky side. So there's so much going on in this active shape. Walk to the top of your mat now. When you get there, come into a forward fold. So with your feet hip distance apart again, bend your knees some or a lot, and allow the upper body to cascade down over the lower one. Shake your head yes and no. Maybe move your jaw around a bit. And then press down through the bottom of your feet and feel a little elevation through the sit bones. Perhaps you deepen the crease, right where your legs meet your torso, and soften and surrender the upper body a titch more. Walk your hands up the fronts of your legs, pressing your hands into your shins, then your thighs. Once your shoulders are up over your hips, release your arms by your side. Turn your palms out towards the front of your mat. Draw your shoulders back slightly and down. Set your gaze on something still out in front of you and experience mountain pose. Both the grounded nature of it and the majestic nature of a mountain. Inhale both arms up and over your head. Hinge at your hips as you exhale. Bring your hands through the center and forward fold down to your mat. Bring your hands up onto your shins. Draw your spine long, and then exhale, forward fold again. As you inhale, come up to a halfway lift, and then bend your knees, set your fingers down, and step just your right foot to the back of your mat. Lower your right knee to the floor. Rock back, lengthening not all the way, but part of the way through your left leg. So fingers stay out in front. The left leg starts to lengthen, so you're kind of dragging your upper body long. And then rock forward and step your right foot right up next to your left one again. Fold in. Rise all the way up to high mountain, sweeping your arms out wide and then over your head. And then bring your hands down in front of your heart and release them to your side for Tadasana. Inhale, reach both arms high. Use the exhale to hinge and forward fold down to your mat. Find a long spine as you lift halfway, and then set your fingers down and set the left foot down at the back of your mat. Lower your left knee to the floor. Rock back. It's like you're going into Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. But if you keep your fingertips up in the front where they started, you may or may not be able to lengthen your right leg. And then come forward, press into your right foot so you can step your left foot up next to it. Fold in. Inhale takes you up all the way to high mountain. Exhale your hands through your heart and then down by your side for Tadasana. Go up, breathe in, forward fold, and breathe out. Find a halfway lift, inhale. This time step back with the right leg again. Keep the right knee lifted and shine the heart forward. Step back into a downward facing dog. And pull out long to plank pose as you inhale. Lower your knees And then lower your whole body down nice and slow onto the mat, keeping your elbows in close. Flip your feet so your toes press into the mat. Inhale, rise to Bhujangasana. And then exhale, lower down. Move your elbows so they're right out underneath your shoulders and just briefly come into Sphinx pose here so that you can feel the tops of your thighs and your pubic bone pressing into the mat, drawing the collarbone forward towards the front of your mat. And there's a slight little drag of your forearms back towards your waist so that you're kind of drawing your heart and collarbones forward. Notice if your shoulders crunched up by your ears, and do what you can to draw them down. Good. Now, as your chin lowers to the mat, slide your hands back so they're right underneath your shoulders, maybe a tiny bit behind. Press up through tabletop, curl your toes, and go to downward facing dog. Then lift your right leg to the sky. Step your right foot forward and find the lunge. Take a breath in and then step your left foot up to meet your right one, folding in and finishing the exhale. Press down through your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach up, go right back down to Uttanasana, forward fold as you exhale. Lift halfway, inhale, and then set your fingers down and step your left foot back this time. Breathe into the lunge, presenting your heart forward to the front of your mat, and then turn it into downward facing dog. Come out long into a plank pose. Lower your knees, keep your elbows close, and lower all the way down onto your belly. Flipping your feet again, use the inhale and the back muscles to bring you up into Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower down. Rock back into a child's pose briefly, sending the hips back over the heels, descending the belly down between the thighs, continuing to keep the fingertips right where they were at the top of your mat. Make little suction cups out of your fingers and keep them where they are and draw the energy up the arms, along the spine, all the way down to the tailbone. Two more full breaths here, in and out through your nose. And on your inhale, return to tabletop, curling your toes right away so you can exhale your way to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg towards the sky, step it forward, be in the lunge, and then step your right foot forward to meet your left one, fold in. Come right into Utkatasana from here. So rise up and then bend the knees, draw the hips back, press the heart forward, and feel this awkward shape in your body. Even the weight through the bottoms of the feet. Keep that same idea exists in almost every shape, navel to spine. And then stand up, bring your hands to your heart and breathe out, and release your arms to your side. Take a breath in right here. Exhale your hands to your heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms wide and high, and then forward fold and breathe out. Step back through your right foot, ground your right heel, whirl your hands up and open into Virabhadrasana 2. In Vira 2, deepen into your front leg, press down and out through the outside edge of your back foot. Navel to spine, Shoulders down. Gaze right over your left fingertips. As you inhale, tip it back to peaceful. Windmill down to your mat, and when you get there, turn your back heel up and lift your left arm to the sky for a simple twist. Bring your left hand down to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. In down dog, come out long to plank pose. Option knees up or down, but lower all the way to your belly again. From here, find Bhujangasana, cobra pose again, or press into the hands and come all the way up to upward facing dog. Return to downward facing dog as you exhale all the breath out. And then inhale your right leg up to the sky. Step your right foot forward. Maybe you need to take your right hand and help it up there. And then turn your back heel down, and we'll come up and open into Warrior Two on the second side. Deepen and breathe. Building the pose from the ground up. Sturdy feet, deep bend in the right knee. Navel to spine, shoulders down. Bright energy radiating out the fingertips. Okay, inhale, tip back to peaceful. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor. When you get there, lift your left heel, the back one, up to the sky, and then lift your right arm up to the sky. Bring your right hand down, and this time step up to the top of your mat, folding in to Uttanasana, forward fold. Come all the way up, inhaling as you do so. Return your hands to your heart and release your arms to your side. We'll go again right away. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, swan dive down. This time, step back with your left foot. Turn your back heel down. Come into Warrior Two again. Tip it into Peaceful Warrior. So right arm up. And then all the way to triangle. So your right leg will straighten. You'll reach your right fingertips forward. And just cascade almost like a waterfall right down into the shape. Right hand can find a block. It could find your shin. It can find the floor in front or behind your right leg. And think about navel to spine and drawing your left shoulder back around behind you a little bit more. Feel the press of the left foot into the mat. Keep that as part of the shape. And then press into both feet evenly to come back up to Warrior Two. Deepen and breathe. Inhale, another Peaceful Warrior shows up, and then you're going to go to side angles. So right arm to the right thigh. Start with your left arm straight up overhead. And then turn, perhaps look up at your left fingertips. Deepen a little bit more into your right leg. And then extend your left arm alongside your left ear. Keep breathing. Notice if you're clenching your toes into the mat and release that. And then let your left arm come down in front of your face. Set your fingers right by your right toes. Turn your back heel up again, and we'll find that simple twist with the right arm waving up to the sky. Bring your right hand down and go to downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. And another breath in and let it go. One more breath here. Full, expansive inhale. Long, deep, relaxing and releasing exhale. Then lift your left leg up towards the sky. Step your left foot forward between your thumbs, back heel ground, so you can come up into warrior two. That changes into peaceful warrior right away on your inhale. And all the way to triangle, Uttita Trikonasana on your exhale. So left leg straightens, fingers find the block, the floor, the front shin, and then even press through the legs, rotation through the spine. Right shoulder and right arm straight up overhead. Stay for one more breath right here. Press into both feet then and return to warrior two. Right away, we'll tip into peaceful and then change it into side angle. So the left forearm finds the left thigh. Reach your right arm up, turn and gaze up at it, and deepen into your left leg some. Maybe you change it so that the right arm is floating just above the head along the right side. Let your right arm wave down in front of your face. Turn your back heel up to the sky and wave your left arm up. And then bring your left arm down and step back to downward facing dog. Come out long to plank, knees up or down, lower halfway or all the way. Come into Bhujangasana or upward facing dog and turn it into downward facing dog. Take 3 nice, beautiful, honest breaths right here. A whole breath cycle is an inhale and an exhale. A full rotation or a full turn of the breath. Now step your feet close together. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Step forward between your thumbs. Walk your hands around to the left side of your mat. Turn your heels in, toes out, and bring your hands up to the tops of your thighs. So kind of setting up for a horse pose here. Rock back and forth just a little bit and feel your way into both legs. And then stand up taller by bringing your hands in front of your heart, elbows up in line with wrists, and keep that bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep your arms out wide and up over your head. As you exhale, let just your right arm come down to your right thigh and tip over with your left arm sweeping alongside your head. Inhale, pull up, reach your right arm up next to your left one. Go the other direction. Left arm comes down, right arm extends alongside your head. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Each side again. Exhale, right arm down, left arm alongside the head. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale to the left side. Beautiful, both arms up. Draw them down in front of your heart. Stand up by lengthening your legs and turn your toes forward, maybe even slightly in, okay? Sweep your arms up over your head. And then swan dive down into a wide-legged forward fold. So come down, maybe your hands find your ankles, Maybe your hands are pressed shoulder distance apart, and you do a little bit of a squeeze of the elbows towards one another, and then you feel that opening along the upper back. See if you can distribute the weight so you're right over the bottoms of your feet. You're not more in the heels or more in the ball of the feet. You're right in the center. And then find that balance from the inner and the outer edges too. Are you more on the pinky toe or more on the big toe side? How do you even that out? Good, one more moment here. And use your fingertips to press up halfway. Walk your hands around to the top of your mat. And when they get there, bend your right knee so you're in a lunge. And then lower your left knee to the mat, rock back, and now we will come into Ardha Hanumanasana. Your right toes curl up. Lift up through the upper body. Center it over the right leg some, and then fold again, deepening. And then keep drawing the right hip crease back. Lengthening the spine over your right leg. Good, and then we'll rock forward, bending through the right knee, and make our way to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg to the sky. Step your left foot forward between your thumbs and lower your right knee to the mat. Rock back, finding Ardha on your second side. So your toes on your left foot will curl towards your face here. And really your hips are coming back just over your right knee, not beyond it. So let me kind of show you. So the tendency is to get our hips way back over our right heel, and really the shape is hips lined up over our right knee. And then it's the fold in the upper body. Soften where you might be clenching something, like your jaw or your shoulders. And then roll forward. Lift your left arm towards the sky. Remember, if we did a simple twist on the other side, but we'll do it here. And then bring your left hand down and step back to downward facing dog again. Good. Walk your hands back halfway onto your mat and walk your feet forward so that you are in a forward fold in the center of your mat. Hinge and be there. Maybe finding a little bit more length along the back of the legs than you had at the beginning of class. Checking in with your breath and evening that out. And then we'll roll up to a stand right here in the center of our mat and be in Tadasana. So I'm going to turn to face you, but you can continue to face the front of your mat. So inhale your arms out wide to the side. Pick up your right knee like you're stepping up a giant step. Cross your right leg over your left thigh, and then start to bend your left knee so that Eventually, your right thigh has to sit down on top of your left one. Now, kickstand for now, your right toes. Now let's work on the arms. Wrap your right arm under your left arm. So this is eagle pose. You could stay this way with the right toes down, or maybe eventually you wrap your right toes around. Shoulders come back over the hips, elbows come up in line with the shoulders. And let's reverse that. Hike your right knee up, sweep your arms out, and then set everything back down. One breath in here, and exhale it out. Now we'll do the left side. Arms out, left knee comes up. And then think about crossing through the midline over to the right side. Now when you bend your right knee, it brings your left thigh and your right leg closer together. And then find the floor with your left tiptoes. Sweep your left arm under your right one. Bring your elbows up in line with your shoulders. And then maybe the kickstand lifts up off the floor. Okay, let's go out of it the way we came in. Big chair step with the left leg up, arms out, and release. Find a freedom breath. It's just a big sweep of the arms high up over your head, inhaling all the way up. Exhale your hands to your heart center. Do one more of those. Big breath in. Feel the shape of a big, round, giant, full moon encompassing you. And exhale, release. Even one more. Inhale. Let your fingers trace the circumference. And then exhale, got all that beautiful lunar light down into your body. And release. Tadasana. Close your eyes here if you can and just kind of bask in that light. The energy of letting go. The energy of release. The energy of completion. The full moon is the completion of a full cycle. Okay, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Step up to the top of your mat and lift your right knee up again. Now slowly, slowly step back with your right leg. You might feel like you kind of pass through and pause in a warrior three shape. And then eventually you step your right foot to the back of your mat, coming into crescent lunge. Same idea as before, elbows up in line with wrists, that puffing up through the shoulder blades action. Then inhale, both arms up over your head. Maybe you keep your palms pressing together. Draw the left knee forward, the right heel back. And then exhale your right arm forward and your left arm back, coming into a twist. So the right knee can have a bend in it if you have low back issues. Otherwise, find a long leg and reach, sort of like you're being tugged forward and back, like as if somebody was holding your fingers and doing a gentle tug. And then tic-tac your right fingers down inside your left foot. Left arm will stay up, so you're back in that simple twist again. And then bring your left hand down and step your right foot forward. to meet your left one, folding in. Slow, slow roll up all the way to a high mountain shape. Exhale, hands to heart center. And release your arms by your side. Take a full breath in right here without moving or changing. And exhale it out. Gather your hands together in front of your heart, elbows up in line with wrists. Inhale, lift your left knee up. Think about that idea of moving through warrior 3 to come in to your crescent lunge. So there's this little pause in this shape that we know as warrior 3. And then the setting of the left foot down at the back of the mat, but the heel stays up. Sink or deepen into the lunge. Keep your palms pressed together like that energy of a candle flame rising up over your head. And then exhale, open and twist. Left arm forward, right arm back this time. And then tick-tock your left fingers down right inside your right foot. The left arm will naturally sweep up towards the sky. And then bring your right hand down. Step back to downward facing dog this time. And lower down onto your shins. Walk your hands back and sit down onto your heels, please. Another opportunity to close your eyes and check in with yourself. Do what you need to do to even out your breath. Then we'll move towards some deeper hip openers. So come back to downward facing dog. Step your big toes close to one another and lift your right leg to the sky. Come into pigeon by bringing your right knee up and placing it right near your right wrist. And then really work the left leg back some. Just kind of press it and wiggle it and work it back behind you. Sometimes it's even good to look back and see if your foot is sickled at all, meaning like your ankle's kind of twisted or turned, and see if you can be right on the top of your foot. And then today we'll just come down, but we're going to place our left elbow over, maybe right in front of our right knee. Maybe you can make it come outside, but then pray your hands, press your palms together, and just turn and twist and look over towards the right side of your mat. Thinking about making that big spiral from the base of the spine right up through the crown of the head. The work, a lot of it is happening starting all the way down at the belly button. One more moment like this. And then release your hands, place them out in front of you. And then you have the option of sweeping your right arm under your left one and coming down so that eventually you're sort of laying on the top of your right shoulder. And then your left arm can just stay out in front. Just kind of feel that reverse twist for a breath. And then come up and change the direction. Right arm forward, left arm under. And now you have the opportunity to level out the hips and the whole backside. And to do so, it requires pressing down through your right sit bone some. Worried I'm messing up my mic here, so hard to show you the shape. Okay, press into your right hand so you can unthread your left one. Both hands come back underneath your shoulders so you can press up, curl your back toes under, and go back to downward facing dog. Can feel good to pedal your feet some. And then big toes come together again. Lift your left leg and inhale. Left knee, drive it right forward and down behind your left wrist. Do that work of drawing the upper body back by moving your right leg back straight behind you, checking out to see that it's directly behind and not the foot isn't sickled. And then this time the right elbow comes down near the left knee. Hands pressed together, and you can use that to help spiral the upper body around. Ask yourself if you're breathing. Ask yourself if your breathing is full as you can right now. Make any adjustments you need to make. One more. And then release your hands. Reach them forward momentarily. Sweep your left arm under your right one just to feel kind of a twist around the other direction. And then change. Left arm forward, right arm threading under the left one. And you bring your left hand back so you can use it to lift your upper body and unthread your right arm. This time, sit off to the left side, swing your right leg around, and place both legs out in front of you, long, and bounce them a little bit or knead them up and down with your hands. And then we'll scoot forward a little bit if you need to. Bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Arms out in front, help you guide you down nice and slow onto your back side. When you're all the way down, take your arms out like a T. Draw your feet up close to your sit bones. Either look down or feel your way to know that your heels are right behind your sit bones. And then slide your hands down alongside your body. Maybe you can tickle your heels. That would be a good way to measure. And then start by pressing into your feet. That will release your hips up off the mat. Keep drawing your knees forward. Let your belly rise as you move your shoulder blades underneath you. Keep going like that. Maybe you gather your hands together under your backside and press the knife edge of your forearms down into the floor. It's a big circular motion in the body, big circular motion in the breath. Each inhale, an arising, each exhale, a completion. Take another breath in. Move your hands out of the way and use the exhale to melt back down onto your mat. When you get all the way down, soften. Let your whole back, your low back, even press momentarily into the floor. Then return your arms out wide and extend your legs up towards the sky. And just find that place where they can dangle. And then separate your legs some, maybe about 3 feet. And then as you exhale, let the right leg come in front of the left one. Now, just like before when we were doing eagle, bend your left leg first, and then bend your right one. It'll be on the top. Maybe you make a twist of the right foot going underneath the left calf. And then as you exhale, let that one twisted root, it's called, go off to the left. Maybe you have to readjust your shoulders so the right one stays on the floor. And you could turn your gaze over to the right side. And let the weight of this twisted root and your exhales bring you into a nice deep twist in the lower body. Think about breathing space in between the ribs on the right side. And then bring your legs back up to the center, untwist, and extend both legs up straight again. Find that sweet spot if you can where you don't have to work very hard at this. And then widen your legs apart, and this time windshield wiper the left leg in front of the right one. Bend your right knee, and then bend your left one. Take it around underneath your right calf, maybe hooking your toes. And then bring your legs straight down to the middle of your mat, and then they go off to the right. The left shoulder is the one you want to activate by pressing into the floor some. Gaze can go to the left. And the knees back to the middle. Unwrap your left leg. Hug both thighs into the belly. Wrap your arms around your shins. Squeeze into a little ball. Maybe chin or forehead comes up towards your knees. And then lengthen out. Find a full body stretch before Shavasana, which means extending your arms up over your head. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. And then bring your arms down next to you, but away from your side body. Turn your palms up. Separate your legs some, perhaps heels as wide as the edges of your mat. Relax your ankles and let your feet flop open. And then let that wave of release wash from your heels all the way up your body. Spend just a couple more moments focusing on your breath and doing what you need to do to make them even. And then even take your attention away from your breath. If you can linger longer in Shavasana, please do so. Otherwise, if it's time to journey on, make your way on to one side. Keep your eyes closed, but press your way up to a seat again. Gather your hands together in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Allow your gaze to drift down towards your fingertips. Open your eyes. And then just let your fingers part here and gaze down into that beautiful open abyss. And see it as a portal back to your heart, back to your fullness. Honoring your practice, acknowledging that you are enough just as you are. Then press your palms back together. The light and love inside of me honors and sees the love and light inside each of you. Namaste.